And I'm live here in YouTube, like for the ones listening in podcast land. And also, when you're listening, Rich, I'd like to welcome my buddy Rich. As you see, I'm solo today. I'm actually in the Quad Cities, but due to some scheduling things, we weren't able to make good stuff where we could meet each other. So I'm going to do today. I got Rich's predictions. He'll jump on, probably, maybe he'll comment on YouTube, maybe he'll, do this thing and bring notes for next week. Yeah, it's been a tough week. Been down for a family funeral. Nothing great to do, but we got to do what we got to do. Had a bunch of late nights this week, so this is probably going to be a fairly short show. But with that being said, I do have a lot to talk about. As I have to talk about the NASCAR corner, as always, which includes, other races going on there. I'm going to talk a little MLB, and I'll give you an update on where things are for the NBA and NHL championships. All that and more. Let's go ahead and roll that intro.
Live from somewhere in Iowa, this is Ballsandsticks podcast with your hosts, Mike and Rich.
Okay, with that, as always, we have a poll question. That poll question this week was, Rich normally has it sent it to me. Let me see, I can go here. The poll question was bird watching versus dancing in the rain. It looks like we had 3 votes, 2 of which were for bird watching. And I can't bring up who the second one was. I'm guessing it was me and my wife versus Rich. So bird watching will continue on, and dancing in the rain will not. With that, Rich will get a poll question up hopefully today. I don't know, maybe we'll wait a week. Whatever it is, look for it on Facebook.com/fans of Balls and Sticks. So Balls and Sticks fan page at Facebook.com/fans of Balls and Sticks. Balls and Sticks radio page at Facebook.com/Balls and Sticks, or Rich and Mai's profile. If you don't know where that is, the links to our Facebook are in the description. With that, let's go ahead and talk. Let me bring it up. I had it and then I lost it. And then I quit out. So, I'll take it. Wow, I'm a well-oiled machine at, 1:20 in the morning because it's been... Anyway, with that, let's go. Oh, this next week's poll question is going to be gardening versus bike riding. What's getting at is gardening versus bike riding. Last week, we had the longest day of the year when it comes racing. We started out at the Indianapolis 500, where Alex Palou won. The first Spaniard to win the race ever. How crazy is that to think in 109 runnings, only one Spaniard has ever done it, and it didn't happen until this year. I watched a bit of the race. It was great. I mean, it's the Indy, so it's always a little weird for me to watch. I don't find Indy racing as entertaining. There's less close passing. There's a lot more passing than there is in other forms of racing with similar bodies, but it was a good race. Richard's pick of Stingray Rob finishing 30 and 26. My pick of Scott McLaughlin crashed in the warm-up lap and finished 33rd. Kyle Larson finished 91 laps of 200 and crashed and finished 28th. Flew up to Charlotte to start the race and crashed out of that race as well for the Coca-Cola 600. As we enter the NASCAR corner, presented as always by Triple I Sports Cars Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check out for all your sports memorabilia needs in Moline on 5th Avenue or on their eBay store. Once again, that is Triple I Sports Cars Incorporated. So, at the Coke 600, Ross Chastain wins, smashing the watermelon. The first driver since Richard Petty in 1971 to win a race after being last on this grid. Won the... So at practice, he crashed his car. The team they thought they could get it fixed, so they went back and they tried to do everything they could to make sure it would work. In the middle of it, NASCAR's like, nope, that car has it has a broken part that will make it unstable. You are not allowed to use this. So the team goes back to the garage, and when I say garage, I mean the home garage, because in Charlotte, 95% of the teams have their headquarters nearby, so they went back to it and started working and worked through the night. Some of the guys didn't get done didn't leave until 2 in the morning and were back at 5 in the morning to get a backup car, not for this race, but for another race that they weren't planning on using for a couple of weeks. Get that car ready and get it to the track, get it inspected, get it worked on, get it ready to go, and took it out and used that backup car to win. So a lot of the team only was operating on 2 or 3 hours of sleep. The race came down at the end. So I picked Denny Hamlin, who finished 16th. Rich picked Josh Berry, who finished 12th. That puts Rich at a lead of 7-6. Then lots of stuff to talk about. One, this was our first race that we saw exclusively on Amazon Prime. I thought the coverage was great. I'm looking forward to this week's race. I also like, just in general, the pre and post game show. They did some great things, including getting NASCAR great and Hall of Famer Carl Edwards to come to a booth and get reconnected in NASCAR itself, which was awesome to see. But you also got to see they also have exclusive camera angles of guys in the 5 or 6 guys that you could watch, and it's really good. I like the coverage. I hope that we get more of that. We'll see. And I'm actually thoroughly enjoying it. I also really, really enjoyed watching the coverage and watching the celebration. I love the Polish. So Alan Kulwicki was a driver in the 80s and was notorious for doing a victory lap, going backwards, driving the track backwards. Now, what does this do? Why is this such a big deal? Well, I've seen it done in dirt tracks a lot. What it really does is, as the driver, so when you're making left turns, and that's how you drive, and that the driver is on the opposite side of the fans. The fans don't really get to see the driver that well. Well, when he does what's called a Polish for Kulwicki, his door is right there. There's his window net down. He's waving. People can see him pretty much real close. It's really great. Love seeing that. And legitimately, if I was a NASCAR guy and I ever won a race, that's how like my victory would be at minimum of a Polish victory lap, if not, burning the entire house down. We'll see how that goes. I love that Ross Cheswick did it. He smashed a watermelon. Really got in depth with a lot of his stuff. But man, that was a great race and a great turnout. Now, with that, at the end of the race, Denny Hamlin's team failed him yet again, but he didn't throw anybody under the bus. I'm guessing when they got back to headquarters, he let some people have it. But they were filling up the car and didn't get. They got one can of fuel in. They didn't get that second can of fuel in. Not getting that second can of fuel ended up costing them. They were in second and were fighting for first. They legitimately had a great car. I don't know that it would have beat Ross Chesson, but it would have been in the top three. And then they have to pit with 6 laps to go, 6 to 12 laps to go, because they didn't get enough fuel in. It's not an acceptable thing anymore, and they need to. There's some serious problems there. It's not an uncommon thing for this type of thing to happen, but man, you can't have these types of issues creep up so regularly that it's kind of a chorus that his team failed him. So, good race all around. Josh Berry did great, had a good car, but, honestly shouldn't have beaten Denny Hamlin, but it happens. So, this week, tomorrow at 7 o'clock, I believe, in Nashville, is the Cracker Barrel 400. Rich is going to pick Austin Dillon, as Austin has never finished outside the top 15 in Nashville. I'm going to pick a guy, AJ Allmendinger, a similar stat. He's never finished out of the top 20, but he also has kind of needs to do something. So I'm gonna pick AJ Allmendinger. Next week we will have the Belmont Stakes, so we'll talk about that next week. And with that, this has been the NASCAR Corner, sponsored as always by Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated, Moline, Illinois. Check them out for all your sports memorabilia needs on 5th Avenue in Moline or on their eBay store. Once again, this is Triple I Sports Cards Incorporated. Let's keep making left turns as we are going to head on to the Diamond and talk about the Cubs. The Cubs split a series with Cincinnati. Split the 2-game series, so I said they were going to go perfect. Immediately they lose that game that day. Kind of hurt me. Picked up the game after that, won 4 in a row as they swept the Rockies. Lost the game to the Reds. Already picked one up today, but they ended up winning 4, which is what Rich said. So good job, Rich, on that. I said 6. I was a little optimistic. Hard to sweep 2 teams in 5 days. Also, so this week we see 1 tomorrow against the Reds. And we have 3 in Washington and 3 in Detroit. 1 in Detroit. So with 5 games, Rich said he's only going to take him for 3, and I'm going to take him for 4. By the way, are the Cubs not doing what we need them to do? I love what I'm saying. I'm 100% on board. I'm looking forward to and hoping that things continue in this manner as they look great. They've been doing everything they need to do this year. I couldn't ask for more so far. Maybe some better relief out there. And you could, it never hurts to have more pitching. And the way that it looks right now, that's really the only only hole in our team. So yeah, I would say the Cubs are looking good. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. Man, I'm just gonna see if I can. Oh, so I'm back. I don't know what happened. I don't know why this is on my personal feed. I'm gonna download it and then up it. Sorry about that. But yeah, it'll get uploaded. With all of that baseball talk, let's talk NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs real quick. So the NBA playoffs are OKC versus Indiana Pacers. Rich had the Knicks over the Thunder. I had the Celtics over the Timberwolves. The finals are the Pacers versus the Thunder. So Rich and I haven't talked. We're not going to go on right off of these movies, I don't think. I like the Thunder in this, and I'm guessing that Rich will probably take the Thunder as well, as it is a team that he had picked to make the playoffs. In the NHL playoffs, it's the Oilers versus the Panthers. That's my pick. I picked that at the beginning of the season, and I picked Oilers over Panthers at the beginning of the season. In the preseason, I did not. Rich picked the Stars versus the Leafs at the playoffs. We'll see if the Oilers can pull it off. So that's exciting. We don't have any esports. I have one shout out, Jenna Hart. Jenna Stroop. It's her birthday yesterday, May 31st. So happy birthday, Jenna. With that, folks, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining us. Sorry about the technical difficulties in there. You'll see some weird stuff. I don't know what it's going to look like. I'm going to try to download this, hopefully get the whole video. Once I get that whole video downloaded, I will get it over to the Balls and Sticks page, and we'll just have it on two different spots. If you got any other questions, like, comment, subscribe. Find us on wherever you find podcasts. Thanks a lot, and have a great week.